Welcome back, fellow thrill seekers. Delivering in the dark. It was supposed to be a routine delivery, just another night at Leonardo's pizzeria. The clock struck late as I geared up for what I thought would be the final order of the night. Frank, one of my bosses, was on the night shift with me, assigning delivery routes as usual. The address scribbled on a piece of paper led me to a mysterious location on Willows Road, a secluded and eerie spot surrounded by nothing but darkness and whispers of the night. Navigating through the desolate town with only a map and an old-school flip phone, I felt a sense of unease creeping in. The lack of street lights cast long shadows, adding to the tension of the moment. As I struggled to locate the elusive house, a sense of foreboding lingered in the air. When I finally reached the dimly lit house at the end of a narrow dirt path, a chill ran down my spine. The orange glow seeping through the windows hinted at a hidden world within. With a deep breath, I mustered the courage to knock on the door, unsure of what awaited me on the other side. What followed was a surreal and chilling encounter with a mysterious resident whose intentions remained shrouded in darkness. The musty scent of decay hung in the air, sending shivers down my spine as I cautiously stepped inside at the stranger's request. The creaking floors and antique furnishings painted a picture of a bygone era, adding to the eerie ambience of the place. As I navigated the labyrinthine corridors, a sense of dread gripped me, culminating in a spine-tingling encounter with a figure dancing in the shadows. The man's haunting gaze and unsettling demeanor left me questioning reality itself, unsure of what lurked behind the facade of normalcy. With a heart pounding in my chest, I made a hasty retreat, the memory of that night etched into my mind like a recurring nightmare. The echoes of that encounter lingered long after, casting a shadow over my future deliveries and instilling a newfound sense of caution in my nightly escapades. From that fateful night onward, I vowed to tread carefully in the shadows of the unknown, never venturing too far into the darkness without a watchful eye and a wary heart. As I reflected on that harrowing experience, I realized that there was a strange allure in the darkness that beckoned me back to that eerie house on Willows Road. Despite the fear and uncertainty that gripped me, a curiosity gnawed at the edges of my mind, tempting me to unravel the mysteries that lay hidden within its walls. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, yet the memory of that haunting encounter refused to fade. It whispered to me in the dead of night, taunting me with unanswered questions and unresolved fears. I found myself drawn to the shadows, seeking closure and perhaps even redemption for the unease that had taken root in my soul. One moonless night, when the world was cloaked in darkness, I made a decision that would change the course of my fate. Armed with nothing but a flickering flashlight and a heart heavy with trepidation, I returned to the house on Willows Road, determined to confront the demons that lurked within. As I stood before the weathered door, a sense of déjà vu washed over me, mingling with a newfound resolve to uncover the truth. With a trembling hand, I pushed open the door and stepped into the dimly lit foyer, the familiar scent of decay greeting me like an old friend. What awaited me beyond that threshold would test not only my courage but also my very perception of reality. The shadows seemed to dance and twist, whispering secrets that sent shivers down my spine. And there, in the corner of the room, stood the figure whose haunting gaze had haunted my dreams since that fateful night. But this time, I was ready. This time, I would not falter in the face of the unknown. With a steady voice and a steady gaze, I asked the question that had plagued me for so long. Who are you, and what do you seek in the darkness? And as the figure began to speak, the truth unfurled like a tapestry of shadows, revealing a tale of sorrow, loss, and a longing for redemption that mirrored my own. In that moment of shared vulnerability, I understood that the darkness was not to be feared but embraced, for within it lay the keys to our deepest desires and our most profound truths. And so, hand in hand with the enigmatic figure, I ventured further into the darkness, ready to face whatever trials and tribulations lay ahead. For in the shadows, I found not only fear and uncertainty but also resilience, strength, and a newfound sense of purpose that illuminated the path ahead like a guiding light in the darkest of nights. Together, we delved deeper into the labyrinthine corridors of the house, each step echoing with the weight of our shared pasts and the promise of a shared future. The flickering light of my flashlight cast eerie shadows on the walls, painting a haunting portrait of our intertwined destinies. As we navigated the twists and turns of the house, we unearthed long-forgotten relics and whispered secrets that had been buried in the darkness for centuries. Each room held a piece of the puzzle. Each encounter with the spectral inhabitants of the house brought us closer to the truth that had eluded us for so long. But as we neared the heart of the house, a sense of foreboding gripped me, warning of the trials that awaited us in the shadows. The air grew thick with tension, and the very walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy that threatened to consume us whole. And then, at the end of a long, winding corridor, we came face to face with the source of all our fears and all our hopes, a doorway leading to a realm beyond the veil of reality, where the boundaries between light and dark, life and death, blurred into nothingness. With a shared glance and a silent understanding, we crossed the threshold, stepping into a realm of pure darkness that enveloped us like a shroud. The air was heavy with the weight of untold secrets, and the very fabric of reality seemed to warp and shift around us, leading us deeper into the unknown. As we ventured deeper into the realm beyond the threshold, the darkness seemed to consume us, swallowing our very essence, and leaving us adrift in a void of shadows and whispers. The air grew colder, the whispers grew louder, and a sense of unease settled over us like a heavy shroud. We stumbled through the darkness, our hands outstretched, searching for a way out of this nightmarish labyrinth. But the walls seemed to shift and twist, leading us in circles and dead ends, trapping us in a maze of our own making. And then, just when all hope seemed lost, we stumbled upon a chamber bathed in an eerie, otherworldly light. In the center of the room stood a figure cloaked in darkness, its eyes gleaming with a malevolent light that sent a chill down our spines. With a voice like a whisper of the wind, the figure spoke, its words dripping with malice and ancient power. It revealed to us the true nature of the house on Willows Road, a place where lost souls wandered for eternity, trapped in a cycle of fear and despair. As the figure advanced towards us, its form shifting and contorting in the flickering light, we realized with a sinking heart that we were not meant to escape this place. We were destined to become part of the darkness, to join the ranks of the lost souls who wandered these halls for all eternity. In a final, desperate act of defiance, we clasped hands and called out into the void, a plea for salvation in a world devoid of light. But our cries fell on deaf ears, and the darkness closed in around us, swallowing us whole and consigning us to a fate worse than death. And so, the house on Willows Road claimed 2 more lost souls, adding our voices to the chorus of whispers that haunted its halls for all time. Our story became just another tale of tragedy and woe, a cautionary reminder of the dangers that lurked in the shadows, waiting to claim those who dared to venture too far into the darkness.